Assalamu alaikum. This is Miraj Hussain, your ICT teacher. Hope you all are fine. This is your first class for class 9 and class 10. Today, I am going to discuss about information and communication technology and Bangladesh. So without wasting any time, let's go to our topic. So, once there was a time when it was thought that those countries who have their natural resources, agriculture and energy, those countries are the most wealthy countries in the world. But the idea that was in the past centuries has dramatically changed after the invention of the ICT. Now, those countries are regarded as the most powerful countries who are developed and who are mostly advanced in the sector of ICT. And we have also realized the present scenario. The world of 21st century is based of knowledge. In present century, two most important thing is internationalization and globalization. And in this two field, ICT is the main driving force for their acceleration. Once people had to depend on the blessings of the nature, but after the inventions and after the development of the ICT devices, this dependency has been reduced to a very minimum rate. In today's world, the countries who are skilled in different ICT related works, those countries are being advanced. In today's world, those countries who are developing in the sector of the ICT, they are going to lead the whole world in the coming future. So it's really easy to understand what kind of preparation we should take for surviving in the coming future. Now I am going to discuss about some greatest personalities in the world and the development of the ICT.
Let's learn about Charles Babbage. He is the father of computer. He was born on December 26, 1791 in London. His father's name was Benjamin Babbage and mother name was Bessie Babbage. Charles was one of the 4 children born in Benjamin's family, who was a banker and merchant. The Babbage family was wealthy. Charles received much of his early education from private tutors. In 1810s, he entered Trinity College at Cambridge University. There, he found that he knew more about mathematics than his instructors. In 1814, the same year of Babbage's graduation from Cambridge, same year he married Georgiana Whitmore. They had 8 children together, but only 3 lived beyond childhood. After his graduation, he lectured on astronomy at the Royal Institute, and in 1816 he was elected as a fellow in the Royal Society. In 1820, he helped to establish the Astronomical Society. In 1822, Babbage began work on his difference engine. That machine was capable of performing mathematical calculations. At the time, numerical tables were calculated by humans, which resulted in high error rate in the tables they produced. His first prototype was not finished during his Babbage's lifetime, was composed of 25,000 parts and would have weighed more than 15 tons. A second prototype was also designed by Babbage. The London Society Museum constructed the machine from Babbage's original plans in 1991. It performs its first calculations at the Science Museum, London, returning results to 31 digits. Babbage then began work on a more advanced machine known as the analytical engine. This machine can be programmed through a series of hole punch cards and intended to use several techniques that are still used by modern computing. In 1838, he invented the pilot, a metal frame in front of locomotives that cleared the tracks of obstacles, and designed a dynamometer curve that would record the progress of the locomotive. Babbage also invented a ophthalmoscopes which used for the eye examinations. Charles Babbage died on October 18, 1871 at the age of 79. Let's learn about Ada Lovelace. Ada Lovelace was an English mathematician and scientist. She was born on 10th November 1815. Her full name is actually Augusta Ada King Noel, Countess of Lovelace. She is now thought to be one of the pioneers of early computers. As a young girl, she was fascinated with math and science, and at 17 years old, she made a call called Charles Babbage. Ada was amazed by the model that he had made, and they soon became very good friends. In 1834, Charles Babbage began work on another model elaborate computer called Analytical Engine, and it had been thought that Ada had a small part on that design. However, modern research has now suggested that Ada played a huge part in designing and writing the programs for the machine. But neither Ada or Charles Babbage ever saw its working in their lifetime. Ada died at the age of 36 on November 27, 1852. The full-size working machine from the designs of Ada and Charles were not made at that time. In 2002, by a team of scientists at the London Science Museum, Ada is now regarded as the first ever computer programmer. And that's Ada Lovelace. Now we are going to know about James Clerk Maxwell. James Clerk Maxwell lived from 13 June 1831 to 5 November 1871. He was widely regarded as one of the greatest scientists of his era. His work on the theory of electromagnetism makes him the father of modern physics. And he also made fundamental contributions to mathematics, astronomy, and engineering. In 1931, on the central Maxwell's birthday, Albert Einstein described Maxwell's work as the most profound and most fruitful that physics has experienced since the time of Newton. In 1845, the 14-year-old Maxwell wrote a paper describing a mechanical means of drawing mathematical curves with a piece of twine. 2 years later, he went to Edinburgh University studying natural philosophy, moral philosophy, and mental philosophy. When still 18 years old students at Edinburgh, Maxwell contributed 2 papers to the Transactions of Royal Science Society of Edinburgh. The following year, 1850, saw Maxwell at Cambridge University. In 1854, he was published a paper entitled On Faraday's Line of Forces, his first foray into the field of electromagnetics, for which he was best known. Now we are going to know about Jagadish Chandra Bose. He was a polymath physicist, biologist, archaeologist, and an early writer of science fiction. Sir Jagadish Chandra Bose was born in Mymensingh, Bengal Presidency, present-day Bangladesh, on 30 November 1858. His father's name was Bhagavan Chandra Bose and mother name was Bama Sundari Bose. His father was a deputy magistrate and assistant commissioner in Faridpur. Bose's education started at vernacular school. In 1869, he enrolled at Hare School before moving on to St. Xavier's School at Kolkata. He received a BA from University of Calcutta in 1879. Bose went to England to study medicine at the University of London. He completed his natural science triples from college and pursued a BSc from University of London, earning his degree in 1884. He married to Chandra Bose in 1887. After return to India, he joined the Presidency College of the University of the Kolkata as a professor of physics. There, despite racial discriminations and lack of funding and equipment, Bose carried on his scientific research. He made remarkable progress in his research of remote wireless signaling and was the first to use semiconductor junctions to detect radio signals. Starting from 1894, he experimented on the Hertzian waves in India and created the shortest radio wave of 5 mm. One to suggest that plants too can feel pain and understand affection. He is also credited with the invention of the first wireless detection device, an invention he never tries to get patented himself. On 13 November 2016, Bose was celebrated in a Google Doodle on the 158th anniversary of his birth. He died on 23 November 1937 in Erith, Bengal Presidency, British India, at the age of 78. Guglielmo Marconi was born in 1874 in Bologna, Italy. His father was a wealthy landowner and his mother was a member of Ireland Jameson family of distillers. In 1894, Marconi became fascinated with the discovery by German physicist Heinrich Rudolf Hertz of invisible waves generated by electromagnetic interactions. Marconi built his own wave-generating equipments at his family's estate and was soon sending signals to locations a mile away. After failing to interest the Italian government in his work, Marconi decided to try his luck in London. In 1909, Marconi shared the Nobel Prizes in Physics with the German physicist Karl F. Baron, the inventor of the cathode ray tube. For the next 2 decades, Marconi continued refining his inventions and experimenting with shortwave broadcasts and testing transmission distances about 700 ton each, Electra. He returned to Italy and became the supporter of Benito Mussolini and annulled his first marriage to an Irish artist and whom he had 4 children to wed, an Italian nobleman. In 1935, he toured Brazil and Europe defending Mussolini's invasion of Abyssinia. He died 2 years later of a heart attack in Rome. In the honor, radio stations in America, England, and Italy broadcast several minutes of silence. Now we are going to learn about Raymond Samuel Thomason. In 1971, he developed ARPANET's first applications for network email. This allowed messages to be sent to users on other computers. Before then, users could only write messages to others using the same computer. He chose the @science to separate local from global emails in the mailing system. Let's learn about Bill Gates. He is a co-founder of Microsoft. He was born on October 28, 1955 in Seattle, Washington, United States. His father's name was William Henry Gates and mother name was Mary Maxwell Gates. His father was a prominent lawyer. He studied at the Lakeside School where he developed an interest in computing. He was just 13 when he wrote his first software program on the school's computer. At the age of 17, Gates teamed up with Allen to form a venture called Trefo Data to make traffic counters based on Intel 8008 processor. He graduated from high schools in 1973. He was National Merit Scholar and scored 50/90 out of 60/100 on the ICT. Bill Gates and Paul Allen collaborated to found Microsoft in 1975. In the beginning, they adopted Basic, a popular programming language for use on microcomputers. It proved to be a success and they continued to develop programming language softwares for various systems. In 1980, the duo was approached by the International Business Machine with a proposal that Microsoft write the basic interpreter for IBM's upcoming personal computer, the IBM PC. Microsoft created the PC-DOS operating system, which they delivered to IBM in exchange for a one-time fee $50,000. Microsoft launched its first retail version of Microsoft Windows on November 20, 1985 as a graphical operating system shell for MS-DOS. In August of the following years, the company struck a deal with IBM and developed a separate operating system called OS/2. Over the following years, Windows came to dominate the world's personal computer market, acquiring over 90% market share. The company saw phenomenal financial success, and being the company's largest individual shareholder, Bill Gates amassed a great fortune. Microsoft introduced Microsoft Office in 1989. The package integrated several applications like Microsoft Word and Excel into one system that was compatible with the Microsoft products. The success of MS Office gave Microsoft a virtual monopoly operating systems for PCs. Bill Gates met Melinda French, a young woman working at Microsoft, in 1989. In 1990s, Microsoft released the first version of Windows. In 1995, Windows 95 was released, setting new standards and features for operating systems. These versions of Windows have been the backbone of all future releases, from Windows 2000, the latest XP, and the Vista. Windows C programming platform and the Microsoft networks were among the innovative solutions developed during this time. Gates married Melinda French on a golf course on the Hawaiian Island in January 1, 1994. He was 38 and she was 29. They have 3 children. In January 2000, Gates stepped down as the chief executive officer of Microsoft, thought he retained his position as chairman. He created a new position of chief software architect for himself. Over the next few years, he gradually transferred his duties to other Microsofts and started spending more works in philanthropic works. He stepped down as chairman of Microsoft in February 2014 and currently serves as technology advisor to support CEO Satya Nadella. In 2015, Gates, along with his wife Melinda, received the Padma Bhushan, India's third highest civilian award for social work in this country. In 2016, President Barack Obama honored Gates and his wife Melinda with the Presidential Medal of Freedom for their philanthropic efforts.
That was all for today. Hope you have enjoyed my class. If you really find it useful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. See you in the next class. Thank you.